sometimes you should just really not care at all. Like when you wear a dragon jacket, just outside wearing the strangest thing that a normal person would never wear. Because life is way more interesting this way. When you just wear a fluffing dragon. Because everything you do will get criticized. And I receive a lot of negativity, but also a lot of positivity. And I just ignore all the negativity. And yeah, the same with going outside as a woman for the first time was scary as fluff. And yeah, when I was a dragon, I also thought, oh wait, this is really, really weird. What people think. And yeah, people look at me weird. But also, I get a shit ton of compliments. I'm a very strange and notable person. I know that. I don't mind breaking social rules just to be myself. And it's quite logical that wearing a dragon jacket will attract attention. And I like it because I like entertaining people and having just random conversations with people and making contacts and friends. But on the other side, sometimes I just need to get to the store, and let's say I'm not wearing my dragon jacket, I'm wearing pretty normal clothing, just like any normal woman would wear. Because I am a normal woman, and I need to eat, I need food, so I need to go to the store. And that's something completely normal, of course. But then still, at every single day I go outside, I will get stared at because I am a transgender woman. And it's sometimes that can just become tiring when you can't just go outside without half the people staring at you and without people making comments about you while looking back at you, or the occasional situation where someone would just curse at me or say things that would not really be a curse, but like just yelling homo at me when I pass by. Or occasionally it has even happened that people just started taking a photo of me. This happened a few times, and when random guys were hanging out at the passenger seat of a fan to take a selfie of me while I was cycling past them. And it's mainly the eyes when I'm outside making me feel like I'm making a statement while I just try to go about doing my business. Because a normal human being has to be outside sometimes. And I would like to be outside without being that extremely self-aware. And I can't go outside without wearing foundation to hide my beard. That's just tiring and annoying. Though I hope in the future that beard part will be semi-fixed. And I know I have a very thick skin because I really have to, there's no other option. And I'm trying to translate the Dutch expression to stand firmly, strongly in your shoes. Now, not really sure how to translate it, but I think that describes it best. Where I do not let things bother me. I make mistakes, I do stupid things. I am broad, I am tall, I'm a trans woman. These are all facts. None of these things I can change, I know that. But what does it mean when people stare at me? I'm interesting. Well, I already knew that. Nothing new there, so for the most part, I can just ignore that. And my philosophy still holds that I just want to live as simply as possible. When making it more complicated will be painful. Because I know who I am, I know what things are, and I try to avoid conflict. When you have conflict, just don't let it bother you. When people are bothered by you, reduce the impact it has on you by just thinking about why people think that way, instead of assuming people are correct to be bothered by you. When people have prejudices, you can chip away at them slowly, instead of fighting them, because it never works. People will only dig their heels in. Or just ignore them, because it's not your responsibility to take. Though I'm not above raising my middle finger when people pass me by and make a comment, because I'm not going to stop and have a conversation with them. Hey, I'm not perfect, and I wish strength and self-confidence upon anyone because anyone deserves to be able to go outside without fear or pain. And for me, it was a very long road, and I know there are many people in the same boat as me. I know there are many people who don't dare to go outside as themselves for fear of people on the streets and even fear of people close to them. And in that vein, I'm happy to go outside and make that statement that people like me are there, that there are trans people outside and that there are trans people on this planet. And yeah, it's annoying to get stared at every single day by half the people you meet. And it is annoying to get stared at in confusion or some disgust that people actually show. And it hurts to be misgendered. It's like saying, no, you're not woman enough. That's that person's problem, it's not yours. And when it happens to me, I don't try to correct people right away because I don't want to attack them. But if they don't realize it themselves, I will try to inform them. Because I don't want to attack people, I want to educate people that trans people do exist. And I've had much worse, where my parents got stalked and got death threats. When my dad was caught by someone pretending to be a police officer, trying to get information about me, and my dad didn't trust it, and then got cast out. And he had taxis and pizzas sent to his home. And my mom got a death threat sent to her art website, calling me a filthy whore, a dirty transvestite, and a cancer homo, and how I have to look behind my back because they're going to stab me in the neck, and more cursing with cancer. And I should elaborate that in Dutch, cancer is a common curse word like fucking, but way more socially unacceptable for obvious reasons. So that was a bit scary. And the day of that incident, I was training outside in Amersfoort, and I grabbed my pocket knife I always carry with me and hid that in my bra, and my flashlight in my pocket. Though I know I'm a giant and I'm fast, and that's an advantage, but it was still scary. And we made police reports, and a week later we heard they were arrested the day after the incident. Couldn't they have told us that before, without keeping us in suspense for a week? Well, this month, a year after this occurred, they were sentenced to 14 months in prison, of which 6 months suspended sentence and 3-year probation. So that does help us put it behind us, and I truly hope they learn from what they did and to know that it's not okay. I can only hope on that part, and we have not been kept up to date on the trial at all, so I don't really know. But hey, that's the end of that. But I could easily get into more situations like that, and others beside me who don't have the same advantage of being as physically big and strong as I am. And still, you should not really have to trust on that. You should not have to live in fear like that. And I personally don't let anything bother me. But that might be easier for me, but that says nothing about others. I will ignore all the negativity thrown at me. I will learn from it, but I will not let it penetrate my skin. When I do something stupid, I want to learn from that. But when someone attacks me for who I am, I will not let that bother me. I will live my life, I will be calm, I will play, because there are people who love me, there are people who think I'm an amazing person, and there are people who greet me with glee and see me for the woman I am. Even if they notice I'm transgender, because hey, I am, that's just a fact. I'm not going to deny that. I could focus on all the horrible things that happen and all the staring that people do every single day. But I would celebrate people who love me for who I am and who think that's great. Who give me a smile, a hello, a compliment. I should not give the impression that I'm bothered by people staring at me or looking at me, because I am a very noticeable person, especially when wearing a fluffy backpack or a complete dragon jacket, or when I jump over fences or down walls and things like that. That is noticeable and that is strange. So of course people are going to stare at me. But there's still a clear difference in how people look at you. When people look at you in disgust, or just think you should just, oh, stop being so weird and a special snowflake and stop being so out there. Fuck those guys. And that's completely different from people who just think you're an interesting and energetic and fun person, because that will attract stares. And I had so many fun little interactions when this shy blue-haired adolescent person just ran over at me and complimented me on my jacket and then ran away, because it was clear she wanted to say something, but it was still kind of scary for her. That it was really fun to see, and all the conversations I have of people who think Alok is such a cute backpack. And that's fun to just have those little interactions and just talk to random people on the streets, because normally it's quite difficult for some people just readily talk to people. So I think it's great that I'm noticeable and can have a random conversation with a stranger all of a sudden. And it's kind of just funny. I focus on that. I let the negativity bounce off, even if it's just plainly annoying. Because of course it's no fun to be doubted in who you are and to get called names. But that's life, that's my life, and many others besides me who are in the same boat. It's about accepting and knowing who you are and knowing that's you. That it does not matter as much as what others say, because you already know who you are. If you know who you are, the good and the bad, then it does not matter what people think. Why would a random person on the street who tells me to put a rope around my neck matter to me? They are an idiot if they think it's okay to yell at me. And if they're an idiot, I don't care about them. And 2 streets over, a little girl greets me with a smile. Hello, miss! And then a man was intrigued about my jacket, and I tell him I made it myself and spin a little circle. I know where I spent my attention, not with that first idiot. And I often try to think that all people have their own troubles. So I do believe that some groups have it much worse than others, such as transgender people. Because it is a fight to be yourself for a large part of your life. And that does mean you have to deal with a lot of shit. And it's not an easy path at all, but it's literally the only path you can take except for hiding yourself off and living in pain. But we're dealt the cards we have, and the only thing we can do is to deal with that and live your life as best as you can. All of us, all people, I wish them to be able to live their life who they are supposed to be.